Island Beach State Park is many parks and means as many different things to the people who come to the park. It may be an opportunity to learn. You can learn informally by walking the self-guided trails, but there are also guided tours. One of these is a kayak tour of the Sedge Islands.
And we also just found the bubbles.
That's right.
Yes, every
the
time
Sedge Island Geyser.
Yes, so we're going to explain a little bit about this.
Example,
So, Brent,
right here you're seeing bubbles come up. And the question was, what are these bubbles? Where do they come from? Is it from a clam, some kind of animal? What is it? What you're looking at here is fresh sand. This is sand that has come from our primary dunes. This happens all the time. Diane had mentioned in the beginning that this is a very dynamic ecosystem, which means it changes constantly. In fact, so much so that we really have to be expert guides to guide you through here. The water levels change, everything changes about this, sand shifts. One thing that we're looking at here is the decomposition of a lot of vegetation. We have eelgrass right here. Eelgrass is a submerged aquatic vegetation. You're standing on some right there. It smells like rotten eggs. It smells like rotten eggs. That's good. That's biomass. That's productive. That's what creates.
Smell that good biomass.
That's right. That's it. That creates our detritus. And that is the stuff of life out here. We'll talk more about that. That's going to be our teaser from the next stop. That's right. But what we're looking at is the release of gases from the decomposition.
Island Beach State Park is a place for recreation. People come here to fish, kayak, cycle, and swim. Surf fishing is very popular at Island Beach. It is the fastest growing family sport and pastime in the United States. When the bait fish come close to shore, can the big blues and stripers be far behind?
I see him.
The reason we do birding tours, well, there's different reasons. My reason is I like to not only add birds to my life list, but I like to get out there and show people just how diverse this area is, just how productive it is. If you monitor bird species and you monitor their behavior and what they feed on, it's really telling about how productive an area is. The osprey is the bird in that nest behind us. To the left of the nest, or to the south, is a perch pole. What you're seeing is the male on the perch pole. That's the male osprey, and the female in the nest. The osprey is an amazing bird. It's in a family all by itself. It's different from other birds of prey, other raptors. It's highly specialized. It only eats one thing, that thing being fish. That's all it eats. So as you look around, this bay is ideal habitat for fish-eating osprey. I said it's an amazing bird. It's got amazing adaptations. Its talons, dead shot, grab it. Grab that fish in the water, they're up to their armpits in water, turn that fish around head first, and fly back to the nest head first. Why do they turn that fish around to be head first? To make it aerodynamic. Remember, a fish is designed to be hydrodynamic in the water. In the air, same deal, it's a fluid. They want to make it head first. They fly that fish back there. Now that male's on the perch pole. He wants to get away from her. He wants a little bit of a break. He does 90% of the hunting this time of year because they do have chicks.
The interpretive staff conducts daily programs dealing with Barnegat Bay's diverse aquatic life.
So that's ratio. Now, one thing that's interesting about them is they actually help us today. If you're getting a medicine and we want to see how pure that medicine is, we'll remove part of the blood of the horseshoe crab and test the purity of that drug or that medicine to see how it reacts to it.
What we're going to do is we're going to walk this seine net straight out through those dark areas. That's not mud out there. Those dark areas are filled with eelgrass growing from the bottom up, that submerged aquatic vegetation. This is where the juvenile fish are. This is where the bigger fish are. It's where we get the clams and the crabs. So we're going to walk straight out in a line, just to let you guys know. We're going to let this net kind of unfurl.
Pulling a 50-foot seine net through the waters of Barnegat Bay is proof that this estuary is teeming with aquatic life. Our kayak tours and the daily seining program provide an opportunity for visitors to see the bay's diversity.
We're going to talk about another of our favorite fish out here, because this is a fish that most fishermen will recognize. This is a fish that fishermen will recognize. There's our fluke fisherman. There he is. You know this one, sir? You'll find this in bait shops all over. Spearing, very good, spearing. Yeah, spearing. The true common name of this is Atlantic silverside. And if you're a little upset by my rough handling of this fish, don't worry. We have billions and billions of them out there. They're the most common fish out there in the Barnegat Bay. They're great for fluke fishing. Why? That bright silver stripe down the side. It attracts fish. You might think, well, that's not a very good adaptation if you want to avoid big predatory fish. When you're by yourself, it's not very good. When you're with a school of hundreds of silversides, then it's great. You're looking at a movement of all silver, flashing and reflecting light. You're not able to pick out one particular fish. This is a perfect adaptation for the Barnegat Bay. We have naturalists here who give this a very common name. What do we call this, Diane?
The French fries.
The French fries of the Bay. And why do we call it the French fries of the Bay? Because there's so many of them, and no big fish can't just eat one. That's right. Big fish can't just eat one of these.
No matter what part of the park you visit, there is so much for the visitor to see and learn. An interpretive specialist at the Nature Center can help you plan your journey and also give you information on the plants, animals, and numerous programs at Island Beach.
Oh, back there? Maybe it pushes them.
There's also this trail right here, right? So she'll break down and the ducks and stuff can get their necks stuck in there.
Sharon, look at this! Sharon, look at this! He's on his back! See? Now we can see this.
Once the small juvenile fish venture through the inlets to the ocean, these fish may become the prey for larger or more aggressive fish, or even man. Instructor Darren Doris and the Beach Buggy volunteers teach the basics of the fascinating sport of surf fishing.
We're going to primarily fish for fluke today. We're going to talk about the different methods and different ways that we're going to actually target this. But that little piece of information about how fluke feed is very valuable. Very, very valuable, especially if you're going to try to catch. But most surf fishermen that have the mentality of casting as far as possible cast over 90% of the fish because they're at their feet. They're feeding on those fish that are up against the wall trying to move on down. The predators are not silly, they're not stupid. They have to understand that in order to live, they need to feed. So they need to understand the process that goes on.
You have to get past the breakers all the time, though, or not?
Yeah.
No. See, that's what I do.
The Forked River Interpretive Center is located 7 miles south of the main gate. Directly adjacent to the center is Janet's Garden. This native plant garden that represents several of the plant communities identifies the more common plants in the park. The Interpretive Center provides an overview of the park, with exhibits on beach formation, plants, animals, and life on Barnegat Bay. Historic artifacts, such as a sneak box, gives one a glimpse of time past. Visitors can sit and enjoy videos on the park and the many activities that occur at the park. Volunteers are there to greet you and provide information.
When are you gonna put these balls up? Yes.
I think something.
He is a beautiful bird. Gosh, he's pretty. What are the field marks of the Canada Warbler, Mary? What do you look for?
The necklace and the eye ring. No tail spots. This one was hatched last year. An older male would probably have an even more pronounced necklace.
Get up, come on up here. What's your name?
Mary Hackett.
Mary, come on up here. Mary, just do the drum roll again. From Bayville, New Jersey, 11 years old, 35 and a half, Travis Larry. Whoa! Travis, get up here. Somebody here from Travis's family? Dad, why don't your dad get up here? Get mom up here. Yeah, and the kids, come on. Get your...
Here today.
Today's project is a New Jersey Beach Buggy Association fencing project. We're trying to string together some what we call sand fence, traditional snow fence, to help stabilize and catch the sand due to build the dune system. The Beach Buggy Association, within their mission, is to help protect areas and encourage mobile sport fishing access. And in return of the access here, they're our one of our only two 501c3 friends organizations to help us put up the fence.
Yep. That ain't stupid. Yeah, run a little slower. That's what set the record. You know what it is? Where it died, where it put that?
Pack that post in there, right? It wouldn't come out like that.
Hey, look at that. God, see that move.
American Poly, but it's a dwarf selection. Maryland dwarf. You can probably do most of that stuff by hand without shells.
Oh, I'm just bring it around this house.
Yeah, if you don't have dirt back there, but These are special little plants. They're only grown at one nursery that I know of, so I kind of...
AT&T volunteers, under the direction of Bryce Bennett, helped to establish one of the native plant gardens at the Nature Center.
Downward. It might be easier to cut if you pick the pot out of the hole. You don't have to scrape down so far.
Thank you, sir. There's only like 20 people watching.
Now, Pete, give us a real smile. Come on.
Think of the green flags.
Many of the migratory birds do make Barnegat Bay their home or their visiting area when they come down, particularly in the fall and in the spring. And it's a wonderful place to come down here and just be in a park like this, which is a wonderful park. I think it's the nicest park in the state, only because I visit it every day. What is important, I think, for the birds, really, is the fact that we have places like Island Beach set aside now where you can come birding 12 months a year and you have a very good chance of seeing a large number of birds. And I think that's the charm of Barnegat Bay. It's a wide variety of habitats here, from tidal marshes to the sand dune to the open water area for open water ducks, even to the jetties where you find the harlequin ducks in the wintertime. But my whole life of fishing game has been the only way you can preserve wildlife, birds, mice, moose, you've got to have a habitat. You cannot live without habitat.
On a sheet that I gave you, it tells you, if you turn to that, you'll see the number of species there are in each of the communities. And I will try to explain why do you have a limited number of plants and why do you have such a large number in different kinds of situations. And then we talk.
Well, we're going to go up along the bayside here and cut into the forest and look at the maritime forest, and particularly the cedar component between the dunes. We have several pockets of Atlantic white cedar, which is
In early spring, school groups and scouts come to the park to help plant American beachgrass on the primary dunes.
Step on the front of it. Give it a good step. That's it. That's good. Yeah, because if you've got to fix it. That's it. Doing well. Hold on. Good eye. Good eye. That's it. Dig it in. There we go. Got to keep these fertilizer ladies busy.
Go there. Can you put 3 in each hole? Yes, 3 plants.
Yep.
Alright, so you just stick
Right there.
right behind the shelf.
This stewardship on the part of these young people helps to maintain the dunes as our first line of defense against the destructive storms of the mighty Atlantic.